last, away from the hustle and bustle of urban life. Yes, there are times when our community may seem as crowded and busy as your own. But take a stroll along our tree-shaded streets. Meet our movers and shakers. Listen to our choir. Visit our favorite watering holes and our town square, and you'll see that there's a world of difference here. Welcome to Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, a unique place to experience nature. A bird's eye view of the refuge reveals 44,000 acres of varied habitats, gently rolling plains, lakes, wetlands, forests, fields, steep cliffs and rocky outcroppings, and a 4,000-acre wilderness area. This is a natural crossroads where northern, southern, and prairie ecosystems meet, providing for a wide diversity of plant and animal species. In 1947, this beautiful mosaic of habitats became Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge. But its history goes back much farther than that. Crab Orchard is part of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's National Wildlife Refuge System, the only network of federal lands dedicated specifically to wildlife conservation. The first refuge was established long ago and far away from here by President Theodore Roosevelt. It was the turn of the 20th century, and the fashions of the day demanded feathers. The brown pelican population was being decimated by feather hunters, and Roosevelt decided to act. In 1903, he signed an executive order designating Pelican Island as a bird sanctuary. This small island off Florida's east coast was the egg from which the National Wildlife Refuge System hatched. During his presidency, Roosevelt went on to create 52 more refuges to protect animals and birds threatened by overhunting. Today, the system has over 92 million acres in more than 530 refuges throughout the country, all dedicated to the conservation of wildlife. The refuges provide vital habitats, which are carefully managed for the benefit of wildlife. They also promote conservation through environmental education programs and recreational opportunities related to wildlife. But within the refuge system, Crab Orchard is unique in several ways. Its differences date back to the 1930s and what happened here during World War II. In 1936, during the Great Depression, several thousand acres of barren farmland were acquired by the government as a site for 3 recreational reservoirs. The Work Progress Administration employed many local residents to build the lakes, and the first, Crab Orchard Lake, was completed in 1939. World War II interrupted the lake building project, but the land and new water supply were put to use for the munitions industry. The ordnance plant here had a peak wartime workforce of 10,000 people and turned out 500,000 shells and bombs each month. In 1947, the land was turned over to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and Crab Orchard National Wildlife Refuge was established. From the start, Crab Orchard has been different from every other refuge in the system. Although wildlife conservation is its central mission, the refuge is also required to provide land for industry, agriculture, and recreation. As a result, Crab Orchard's past is integrated into its present. Munitions and other products are still manufactured here, and farmers still work some of the land. However, the human activities are not allowed to impact the wildlife, and in many cases are beneficial. Crops on the 5,000 acres of farmland are only partially harvested. The rest is left for Canada geese and other wildlife to eat during the winter. Another 2,000 acres are used for cattle grazing, but the cattle are removed in October to make way for the arriving geese. The refuge also has some unique opportunities for outdoor recreation, helping to make it the 5th most visited refuge in the system. However, most of our more than 1 million visitors come to enjoy our flora and fauna, and there's plenty to see in every season. Along our hiking trails and wildlife drives, visitors can encounter over 500 species of plants, 43 mammal species, 50 species of reptiles and amphibians, and our pride and joy, 269 species of birds. Lying near the middle of the Mississippi Flyway, the refuge is a vital stepping stone for migrating birds and a winter feeding and resting area for Canada geese and other waterfowl. By December, the refuge's goose flock can exceed 185,000 birds, grazing in the fields and paddling in the 3 man-made lakes. And they are not alone. Thousands of waterfowl, representing some 25 other species, join them here for the winter. Several bald eagles spend the winter at Crab Orchard and can often be seen in the trees overlooking the waterfowl flocks. As spring appears on the refuge, the overwintering birds head north to their breeding grounds. They make way for other migrant flocks, which stop over at Crab Orchard to rest and feed on their way north. Thousands of mallards, widgeon, scaup, mergansers, and other ducks can be seen during this spring migration. Some birds stay here year-round, including the colorful wood ducks, which nest in man-made boxes along the creeks and lake shorelines. 2 pairs of bald eagles also nest here in the wilderness area. As the weather warms, the refuge's mammal population becomes more visible. Beaver and the effects of their work can be seen along the shorelines. The damage they do to the trees is offset by the excellent waterfowl habitat they create. Raccoon, coyote, and white-tailed deer are also common on the refuge. White-tailed deer are one of Crab Orchard's great success stories. 9 deer released in the 1940s grew to a population of about 4,000 animals by the 1960s. Soon, damage to the woodlands and crops signaled that the deer population had outgrown the refuge. A fall hunt was established to reduce the herd, and this management practice continues today. The highlight of spring at Crab Orchard is its glorious wildflower display. The flowering species bloom in succession from late February until the end of summer. But April is the peak month for nature's finery. Throughout the year, the refuge runs interpretive programs, and the wildflower walks are among the most popular.
These are this year's leaves right here. They kind of come up after the flowers bloom.
Environmental education is a high priority at Crab Orchard. For many of our visitors, this refuge is their first or only opportunity to come face to face with nature. Among them are thousands of school children who take part in our youth camps. The children learn about Crab Orchard's habitats and how they are managed for the wildlife.
The fox has become less secretive and more inclined to move into urban areas.
They see firsthand how the various plants and animals interact to create delicately balanced ecosystems. And they take away a better understanding of the importance of wildlife and natural areas.